So my name's Justin Flitter. I'm the founder of newzealand.ai. It's my privilege and pleasure to be bringing you this roadshow program today along with all of our partners. We've got an amazing program. The way this is going to kind of roll out is this morning is all about sharing our knowledge, sharing our expertise, sharing the practical learnings that we all have from implementing AI within businesses and organizations around New Zealand to try and build up your knowledge and your context around the topics, the issues, the challenges that we have. And then after lunch, it's all about bringing it together. So show me, show me, show me. We want to talk about, showcase companies that are doing this and get you under the hood of some of the tools and the technology that you can access today to actually start doing it. We then finish off the day with a practical workshop to help you, formalize some of those ideas and discuss some ideas in your table groups. We'll have a panel Q&A with all of our speakers and technical experts here, and then we'll be finishing off with some kai and some drinks at the end of the day. Sound good? Excellent. Today, I've been running AI New Zealand for about almost 10 years now. We started in 2017. And that was before ChatGPT had launched, before large language models were a thing. And even in the 6 weeks or so that we've been running the roadshow, the narrative has really shifted. And it's just kind of proof and point how quickly things are moving. So I kind of like to look back, to look forward, just to appreciate how far and how fast things are moving. So we go back to 2011 when Watson wins Jeopardy. In 2022, OpenAI launches ChatGPT. For the first time, we all had a large language model in our browser, AI that we could talk to via natural language. In the last few years, we've now got models that can see, that can hear, that can reason through quite complex problems. And now, of course, we've got AI everywhere. And even in the last 10 days, we've had models that have been groundbreaking appear and disappear from our tools. And so things are shifting quite rapidly, as we'll all see. So these are the challenges. When we are going around the country, talking to businesses of all shapes and sizes, these are the challenges that we're hearing that they're grappling with. People are busy. Business as usual is bogging us down in repetitive, tedious tasks. We've got tools and apps and systems that don't talk to each other. And that's creating manual data work, where we're having people doing copying and pasting, taking data out of somewhere, doing something with it and putting it in somewhere else. And we've got siloed knowledge, whether that's knowledge that's stored in the software or the tools that we've got, or it's stored up here in people's brains. And that creates a risk and a liability as well, and especially if you've got people that have been in the business for 20, 30 years who are about to retire. There's a huge wealth of information sitting in with those people that if only we could just download that to be able to build out a context engine for our business, how valuable that would be. So where are we at? Well, towards the end of last year, this stat came out that New Zealand was actually the 4th highest users of Claude per capita, which I thought was pretty remarkable, certainly as Claude Co-work was coming out. Today, pretty much every business is doing something with artificial intelligence. We've all got the tools, the shiny copilots, the large language models, all sitting in our browser. But for the most part, adoption's quite shallow. And I mean, everyone's using it as a Google search replacement and writing some copy. So our objective today and with this program is to start maturing that adoption, to help inspiring you to think bigger, to start leveraging these tools in ever more remarkable ways. So we've all got AI, these large language models, voice, and we'll talk more about voice as we go on today. So you can go on to 11 Labs, you can create a clone of your boss's voice. Oh no, you don't do that, your own voice. And create a radio ad for your business, or have you narrate a podcast. Instead of having to sit there recording every single time you want to do it, you've got a voice clone, and you can type in the copy, paste in the copy that you want it to read out, and away you go. You could do a radio ad. We've now got doctors and physios starting to use voice AI systems to answer phone calls after hours. It's connected into their booking engines so that customers can ask questions about who they're seeing or change the time. And we've got computer vision, right? Systems that we can teach computers to see, to help us with, in this case, with Invoil, looking at identifying when humans and machines are in the wrong place at the wrong time. So this is not Big Brother, it's not facial recognition. This is literally about enabling staff to replay incidences throughout the day from a health and safety training perspective. So Tane van der Boom started this company in about 2017 as well, and it's just been going from strength to strength. So we kind of talk, everyone's using AI, we've all got access to these tools. The capability of AI is doubling every 7 months. But we're feeling a little bit stuck. And certainly that adoption can be improving, right? So where we've got to is we've got individuals that are curious, that are tech savvy. They've started experimenting with ChatGPT or with Claude or Copilot or any of the other platforms out there. Then companies start thinking about their IP and customer and business data, and we start wrapping some policies and some structure in place around how we want our staff to be using or not with AI, and we might provide some training to those who want it. But adoption is still scattered. It's benefiting a few occasionally. So how do we get our knowledge and our tools and our people actually working for us? Because what's at stake is the resilience of our organizations and the relevance of our organizations in the future. Because how on earth are we going to be able to compete not only for good people to hire or compete with our competitors and markets locally and internationally with organizations that are just 10 times more effective than us. So, to start off with, let's stop treating AI like a search engine and start thinking about it like the best contractor that you've ever had. And the big shift that we've seen just in the last year around this is, if we were running this event this time last year, it would very much been ask and act. We can ask these AI tools a question, it's going to generate a response, and then we take that and we go and do something else with it. Now, we can actually do the entire process and delegate these tasks to agents and skills to research, to create, and finally to generate a document or an output. So as an example here, my tech stack's actually reducing. Previously, I would have used Canva or PowerPoint or Keynote to produce these slides. Now I use my friend Claude, helps me out. And we're publishing it to an app, to a website. So even if even the keynotes that I'd be using speaking at industry events and conferences and things like that will all get published to keynote.newzealand.ai. And so how we're producing documents and artifacts and things like that is really shifting. So we want to today hopefully inspire you to get thinking about how do we leverage these incredible large language models with advanced reasoning capability as a strategic advisor with agentic actions, with voice All of these new ways of using it that can enhance what you and your people are doing at work. Just as a quick example, this was for a property maintenance company, so they've got 1,000 contractors around the country that are all doing maintenance work for rental properties, and the contractors have to remember the job code to put on their paperwork at the end of the day, which of course they don't get it right. And so that creates a whole lot of reconciliation and back office work. So utilising Copilot Studio, we had a couple of files in their SharePoint. It was deployed to a WhatsApp channel because all of their contractors are using WhatsApp, so that they can now ask via text or voice in any language, what's the job code for this task that we're doing, and get it returned back, also with the compliance or health and safety information and those sorts of things. So if we've all got access to these remarkable large language models, the differentiator is not which tool you use or how many tokens you can consume, it's how you think. But just having AI in the loop is not necessarily going to what sets you apart. So when you go back to the office and you start thinking about what are the characteristics that we want to encourage here, curiosity and critical thinking are not just great personality traits, they're really important infrastructure for how a business is going to adapt and adopt in this AI world. And of course, practical skills training. I think when we were running this in 2024, probably only 13% of New Zealand employees had received employer-led training for AI. I think now the latest stat I've seen come out is it's around about 27%. So there's still a long way to go in terms of providing people with the practical skills to use these tools every day, right? Which gives them the confidence to be able to get stuck in. So, how do we get going? What's the approach here? We like to think of it as about building a context engine, right? Combining your domain knowledge with your lived experience, which is your human in the loop, with public and company data to be able to build that. And we know these large language models, we want to give them as much context as possible. And so to build the architecture around that, we're thinking about what skills are they going to need? What knowledge does the skill need to be able to do the task? What integrations or connections do we need to be able to provide? Thinking about it the same way as you would if you'd hired a contractor to do all your proposal writing or whatever the task is. The contractor needs some specific skills. It needs knowledge and context. It needs to have access to the tools to be able to do it. And it needs to have some governance layer and some checks and balances to make sure that what's coming out or what's being produced is relevant and accurate as well. So we've got a playbook up on our website, newzealand.ai. Also, all of the resources and tools that our speakers will be sharing with you today will be in the AI New Zealand Academy. So if you haven't received an invite or you're not a part of a member of the Academy at the moment, we'll be sending that to you in the next day or so, or today. And that means that you'll be able to access the resource hub for Roadshow. We'll be putting in all of the speakers' talks, the videos, and all the handouts and different things that we've got in there as well. So, this is my challenge to you. I hope you have come today curious to learn and absorb and think about things. I'm pretty sure you'll leave with more questions too. So that's enough for me to set the stage for the day. I'd like to welcome Richard Kenyon from Datacom to take you through the next session.